Welcome to the final Once Driven Forever Smitten that will be recorded in 2020. What a great year it's been. Today we're going to show you how to make methamphetamine using this handy mobile laboratory. Oh my kidding. Just for context, we're in the middle of a right cold snap and the temperature hasn't come up above freezing for a few days, so the last time I was out here I fell on my arse. But we're just going to go and see if the old Vectra 350 quid thing will cold start after a couple of days. Then I'm going to defrost the Cavalier, then I'm going to go at Brian's and we're going to try and repair the fuel pump for the Vectra, which is currently down in London, which I can't get to because of all the coronavirus restrictions. But anyway, doesn't it look lovely and snowy? See what I mean? This snow hasn't melted at all. The remote central locking works on the old bus and everything. Let's just see, will it start after a couple of days? Whoa, hey! Quite impressed with that. That's alright. Nothing else to say really, I just wanted to see if it would start after sitting in the freezing cold for a couple of days. And it's purring away quite happily there. Good stuff. Here's a pro tip, another one from Once Driven Forever Smitten. If you've got snow all over your car, before you go out and drive it, go and brush it all off. Really ignorant people drive about and the snow piles up the top of their car and it just falls off when they're going down the road. I hate that. To get that off my chest. Lovely 16 valve goodness purring away there. Can't beat it. I really need to sort the water leak in the boot, it's just pure laziness, but look, it's all frozen. It's actually better when it's like this cold. Yeah, because the whole boot's frozen solid. All the moisture condensation's frozen on the inside of the lid. And it's just these two little bits here. These bits, that's where it's letting the water in through the spot welds at either side. I could probably just seal it up with tiger seal if I really wanted to. Definitely need to sort that, but we're about thawed out enough now that we can go. I'm just going to bang on a bit again about one of my favourite subjects, seeing as it's all snowy, and that's winter tyres. The first time you put a set of winter tyres on your car, you'll never go back again. You would not believe the difference they make in snow, ice and low temperatures. They just make life so much easier, and a front wheel drive car with snow tyres on it can easily outperform a four wheel drive car with summer tyres on it. I'm not kidding. So the Cavalier's the only one I've got with these ones on it at the moment. These are the budget good rides, which I found worked very well, although they did wear out a bit quick. I've got a set of Toyo snow proxies to go on the Vectra B once it comes back, once we swap it over for the Vectra C for that customer in a couple of days time. But I'm telling you, winter tyres, get them, it'll transform your life. Another pro tip from Once Driven Forever Smitten. on, somebody commented as well about my squeaky clutch pedal on the Cavalier. There's no squeaking today, is it? Well, it's started to squeak now. It's not as squeaky as it usually is. But honestly, nearly 25 years of driving Vauxhalls, you don't even notice it anymore. This is needing a clutch in it though. I'll have to put a clutch in it early in 2021, because not that the friction plate's worn out or anything, it's just that the pedal's stiff. Like the fingers on the pressure plate I think are a bit rigid, so I'll have to go and put a clutch in it, which is a wee bit more complicated than normal because this has got the pot type flywheel in it, so we can't just drop the clutch out the bottom. But having said that, it's a Cavalier, there's nothing too major about it. There's plenty enough space to move the gearbox over to one side. If not, we'll just drop the subframe down a bit. Man, aye. Let's go and do this Vectra fuel pump. You see, look at that. That's quite unusual that there's that much snow still sitting on all the branches of the trees. The temperature's not come up for a good couple of days now. But the low temperature doesn't worry us because we've got winter tyres. No traction problems whatsoever. I wonder if my washers are going to work. Way! I've come down to Brian's and he's bought me a steak and haggis pie, get in, which will go nicely with my cup of pish, which isn't really pish, it's chamomile tea. It just looks horrendous when you've got it in that clear bottle. Good stuff, steak and haggis pie, can't beat it. I'm just working out how to knock the ball bearing out of the fuel pump, because that needs to come out and then we need to drill and tap a thread into there to put a bolt in to fill the pump with hydraulic oil. And we don't know how it comes out exactly. I mean, we could run a drill into it, but that might take a while. So will a punch remove the bearing?
An M10's too loose.
An M10's too loose to go in with the ball bearing. We've not pushed it out yet. We've got concerns over the angle we're hitting against it with a punch. So we're going to have to tap that out to M12.
That's just for fucking...
But what we can do is we can drill into it and open that up a bit so the bearing will fall out easier.
Maybe.
So just making the hole slightly larger, so when we punch the bearing again the next time, it's going to have less resistance and it will just fall out, while we still have enough metal for a bolt to go and thread into. See what happens. Closer, nearly there. Just the concern about the angle that the punch is going in, as to whether or not it's still hitting the ball bearing or not. That's the ball bearing out it there. It's shot out, so what we need to do now is drill this hole out on the right there to an M12 thread, so we can put a bolt in to seal it up once we've filled the pump with hydraulic oil. Selecting the correct tap.
12
set.
1.75.
What are you looking for? Slightly bigger?
Nah, it should be a 12. See my 12 1.5. That'll be either one of these two.
What we're doing here with this scrap heat exchanger is we're not entirely sure how big we can drill into the pump, so we're just going to test the tap in there first to make sure it's not too big, because we don't want to drill the hole too big, that would be bad. So test hole on a bit of scrap. Seems to be fine, all good to go, so we can use that drill on the pump itself. What's our thread, 1.75?
Yep.
Right, we're going to tap that out with that. but we may have to drill it out a bit to open it up first. Just making sure there's no swarf in the pump at all. Cleaned it out with some brake cleaner there before we run the tap into it. So that's us running a thread into the pump so we can fit the bolt to fill it with the hydraulic oil. Now you put a bit of lubricant in there as well to make it run a little bit easier. There's a hole that we've tapped, and there's our M16 bolt, which we're going to have to M12 bolt, sorry, which we're going to have to go and cut down substantially. But that's it. It screws in there now, so we can go and fill the pump with oil when the time comes. But that's the trickiest bit of it out the road. So that's the bolt test fitted and the threaded, newly threaded hole. And that looks good like that. We expect that will seal up quite nicely. Just running it in and out a couple of times to make sure we're okay. And then obviously we're going to have to cut the bolt down quite a lot because we can't leave that hanging out the side. We don't have any really short 12 bolts. What we're going to do is we're going to put an end on the bolt once we've cut it down, because the option alternatively is fill the pump with oil and then cut the thing off flush so it's sealed again, but if we ever needed to get back into it, that would be a bad idea. Right, so we're just giving the pump a proper good clean out with loads of brake cleaner to get all the oil out of it, because obviously if you'd seen the previous video it was absolutely full of engine oil. So you need to make sure this is spotless and get any swarf or anything out of it as well. Look at that, there's still loads of oil pouring out it. So. And that little membrane bit there. So.
I guess
We've put the pistons in and now we've put our new diaphragm washers in, but you see they just sit on top like so, and then the next part of the pump pushes down and it goes in the two dowels on top. So we've just pushed the second part of the pump, it goes down in the two dowels and then it all presses together like so. And then it's time to go and put the top part of the pump on. And that's the next part, that's like the top bit, that spins round and these push against the washers and supply the fuel into the engine. So it's time to bolt the thing back together and fill it with hydraulic oil and make sure it's not leaking. Just gently removing the camshaft seal, which comes as we got a replacement one in our set. I got oil behind it as well, set of bearings, set of ball bearings in it. And it's hiding a set of bearings behind it in there. I'll just give it a little clean out. And of course that's what the hydraulic oil is going to run into it.
Yeah.
To keep those bearings in good order. So we'll just pop our new seal into there. So I've replaced the camshaft end seal, and it was bloody tight to get the thing out and put it back in again. It's a tight fit, and we've replaced the green O-ring on it as well. So now it's a matter of bolting the two parts of the pump back together again. So we've now got the two bits of the pump pushed together. I'm now going to tighten down the little Torxes on it. Then fill it with hydraulic oil and then test on it, and hopefully there's nothing leaking through it to the wrong side of the pump anymore. So we're now filling the pump with some ATF, and then we'll have to spin it on the cam bolt to work its way around and gradually fill it up. So as we spin that round, the oil's circulating round the pump, and we'll just do that and then pump more into it again and keep repeating this process until we can't get any more oil in it. We've been filling that for a while, and as you can see now there's no more bubbling, that's it full of oil, so we now need to go and eject the excess oil from it, because obviously that would be too much to have in it at the moment. So we do that by pressing in the little membrane, little rubber on the side of the pump. So I've just pushed the membrane in, and that's the excess oil going out it. There we go, just putting a bit of Loctite on our bolt to go and seal up where we've filled the pump with oil. Make sure we've got a good tight seal on that so nothing can escape. So you can see there, just with the flats that we've put in the end of the bolt, we're just tweaking that in with a 10mm spanner.
Not as much now as it's full.
That's just testing it now, just spinning it round. Going to make sure that there's nothing leaking through it that shouldn't be. Need to make sure there's no oil coming through and out the ports on it, because that means it won't have sealed up. But you can hear that. Don't know if the camera is going to pick that up, but we can hear it going, kind of popping as it compresses. Well, that was quite a productive day. That's the fuel pump done for the Vectra. It's just a matter of getting down to fit it now. I could, I suppose, go and post it to Pete and get him to fit it, but how would the adventure in that be? We're just going to have to wait until the coronavirus tier 4, hopefully not going into 5 stuff, calms down a bit. But yep, that's good news. That's our fuel pump all rebuilt. Hopefully the video might be of some use. There's other videos out there, obviously that LM Motors one, I wouldn't have attempted it without looking at that first. So yeah, happy with that, all good. See you next time.